just any logical name. So now when you go to file settings, there's an option called recovery. So you'll see that uh, we can also associate the other recovery scenarios which we had created. This was just a random recovery scenario which I had created earlier. So as you can see, I can associate multiple recovery scenarios with my test, and also I can change the priority. Now why this priority is required? Suppose for a particular line, say for example line number 2, the trigger event is applicable for both the scenarios. So QTP based on the priority will decide which recovery scenario it has to execute. So let's remove this dummy recovery scenario for now, and the proper recovery scenario which we created for multiple dialog box, we'll keep it with our test, apply, and then OK. So we have multiple dialog boxes open, and now we'll see what happens when we run this script. So let's run the script. It might take some time for QTP, since the recovery scenario is saved explicitly. It may take some time for QTP to extract that recovery scenario and perform the steps accordingly. So what we are expecting from QTP is to pick that recovery scenario. The trigger event is multiple dialog boxes. It will close one of the dialog box, and it will set the agent name test and password Mercury in the dialog box which is not closed, and then it will proceed further. It will click on the OK button and flight reservation window should open. So this is what we are expecting from QTP, and this is how we are the test run is not interrupted, since we have handled the exception using recovery scenario manager. So it should come by now. As I said, it will take a longer period of time, but when you're running thousands of scripts, thousands of lines, and you're leaving your script and going out, at that time this can be a really useful concept. So let's see. So as you can see, QTP ran the script. I'll see that one of the window has been closed, and one of the dialog box has been closed, and the other dialog box which was open, QTP could enter the agent name, password, and click on OK button, and we could see the flight reservation window open. So our test has ran successfully, and QTP has handled this exception without any interruption in the run, although we saw that it took some longer amount of time for the execution. Now when you go to the test result summary, you'll be able to see that QTP has used recovery scenario. So if you see run error at agent name, okay, and this icon is for recovery scenario, a reverse triangle. So here if you see, the scenario is multiple dialog box defined in this, where it is saved, description, so, and also the date and time. So the brief description about where the recovery scenario has been used, and what were the conditions under which it has been used is explained over here. So this was about using recovery scenario in your code. There are different scenarios where you can use this, different trigger events for which you can use recovery scenarios in your real-time project. So in our dealing with exceptions chapter, we saw handling exceptions in 4 different ways, of which recovery scenario manager is used to handle any particular event for which can occur in unpredictable fashion.